Welcome to Discover Indie Film. I'm your host, Jeff Howard, and today I've got Patrick Connolly with me. Hey, Patrick.
Hey, Jeff.
All right, Patrick is the director of 2 films of note that I'm going to mention. He is here to answer the Discover Indie Film 4 questions, which are favorite films of all time, an underrated film, an overrated film, and a lesser-known film that people should seek out. Before he jumps into his list, I'm just going to mention the films that Patrick has made and that have been at the festivals I program. First was Creeping Ritual. The Creeping Ritual was at the Sherman Oaks Film Festival in 2018. Love this film. It's actually in the Discover Indie Film TV series. So if you go to Prime Video, search for Discover Indie Film, you can see The Creeping Ritual in Season 2, Episode 9. And then a year and a half after that festival, he brought the feature Desire Lines to Film Invasion Los Angeles in 2020. Desire Lines is a superb film. In fact, the DP of it realized that it's an avant-garde film. What did he call it? Avant-garde?
Aggressively avant-garde.
Aggressively avant-garde, and I agree with that. And so, if you like cinema, go to Amazon Prime Video, look up Desire Lines, and watch it. Pay $1.99.
Patrick Connolly's Desire Lines.
Patrick Connolly's Desire Lines. Got it. Watch it that way. You can also watch it on Tubi, but watch it on Prime Video so there's no interruptions, all right? All right, so that is the setup with Patrick. Now I'm going to have Patrick answer the 4 questions, and as he answers each one, I'm going to tell him what his 2019 answers were, because that's kind of going to be kind of fun. So, anyway, Patrick, go ahead. Favorites.
So, the favorites... that list just gets longer and longer and bigger. So now I'm just picking like the last several films I saw that I really enjoyed and that really moved me and spoke to me. And they were Dog Day Afternoon, To Live and Die in L.A., and Lost Highway.
3 great films.
Yeah, I think they're the 3 of the greatest fucking films Dog Day Afternoon, I'm convinced might be the greatest film ever made. I say that about everything. But Dog Day Afternoon, and then To Live and Die in L.A. contains an energy I don't know if I've ever seen in another film. And I was telling a friend of mine that it has this like large, like Baroque Hollywood thing to it, and then simultaneously, I've never seen this in a film before. Simultaneously, it has this like really small, introspective, independent, artistic like edge to it. All throughout the film, from the Wang Chung soundtrack to the editing to the shots, there's something about it that's like so big in like mass, consumed, mass marketed cinema, coupled with this like small introspective piece of art. And then Lost Highway is my favorite David Lynch film, and I think it might be the most comforting film I've ever seen.
And by the way, amazing soundtrack on that one too.
Yeah.
I was going to brag. I'm going to brag for a moment. I had the To Live and Die in L.A. soundtrack on vinyl in college and played the shit out of it because that is one of the best. That is one of the best soundtracks ever made, I think.
It is one of the best soundtracks ever made. That was the soundtrack that I gave to the band Drinking Flowers when they did the score for Desire Lines. I said, if you can do anything like this, this is what I want to do. And before everything got shut down, we were gonna press it into the soundtrack for Desire Lines. We were going to press it into vinyl and package it and sell it as the soundtrack. And then it just kind of fell apart. That fell by the wayside. But the soundtrack's so fucking good. It is so good. He calls it experimental pop. William Friedkin. Because I saw To Live and Die in L.A. at the Egyptian with William Friedkin in the house, and I was actually volunteering at the time. And so part of the volunteer is that you had to like kind of be like a security guard for him. So I basically walked down to the hallway next to where everybody sits, and I was sitting behind him watching the closing credits to Live and Die in L.A. And you could tell this dude was in his early 80s. The motherfucker was still proud of this film, and you could just tell by the way he was sitting. He was proud. It's just like it's just an outstanding work of cinema.
And he has some amazing films in his resume.
And he does. The guy has a serious resume, but there's nothing like To Live and Die in LA. There's nothing like it. Dog Day Afternoon has one fucking synchronized music song in it. It has an Elton John song over the opening credits. I think it's off of like Tumbleweed Connection or something. Great tune with all these clips, all these quick shots of Brooklyn. You do not hear another note of music after the opening credits all the way through the end. Which I've never seen anything like that before. And then someone actually brought to my attention that No Country for Old Men does the same thing. But I want to assume that Dog Day Afternoon was the first one to do it. That film's got an energy too that just carries. There's nothing accompanying the film other than what you're seeing. It's Al Pacino's best role. It's one of the best screenplays ever written. It's just good.
Yeah, it's compelling start to finish, and I get why it would. Of course, I didn't remember the fact that it has no music. But music wouldn't belong in a film that tight. Like
I know there's something about it. It's that it has no. It doesn't need anything. It's just it's all there. It's just all there.
And Lost Highway interests me because I'm a big Lynch fan, and I have that soundtrack, of course, CD because vinyl is gone by then.
Yeah.
But
soundtrack's fucking awesome.
But it is so good.
It is.
Those Bowie songs kill me.
Yeah.
Kill me.
Yeah.
But interesting. I might have to look at Lost Highway again.
And then Barry Adams.
When I think of all the Lynch films, I normally don't put that in my tops, so I'm going to have to check it out again.
I had that and Mulholland Drive like neck and neck, and then I saw Mulholland Drive in Boston at the Coolidge Corner Theater like a couple of months ago. And when you're watching a David Lynch film anywhere outside of L.A., you can just feel everybody's brain. You can hear the gears and everybody's fucking heads just screeching and turning, and everybody trying to figure it out. You watch a David Lynch film on the big screen in L.A., and everybody just sits and chills and watches it because they get it. But Mulholland Drive, the sound design in Lost Highway is what makes it what it is, in my opinion. And Mulholland Drive didn't quite have that. I'm not taking anything away from it, but there's something about the sound design and what you're seeing on the screen and the marriage of the two that he outdid himself in Lost Highway.
I don't disagree. All right. Well, the next question is underrated.
This was a hard one for me right now, but I'm going to say Showgirls from 1995.
Very cool, yeah.
It is very cool. The Elizabeth Berkley vehicle, yes, with the David Lynch regular Kyle MacLachlan, yeah. The Paul Verhoeven film, yeah. We just watched, I was on a Paul Verhoeven kick last year because I got into, I got an account down at Cinephile, a video store that has all DVDs down on right off the 405 on West LA, right before Santa Monica. I think it's on Santa Monica or Wilshire.
Yeah, it's right next to the Newark, right?
Exactly. Yeah, the place right next to the Newark. Yeah, we got an account there, and I started to watch all of Paul Verhoeven's films, who now I'm convinced is maybe the greatest living filmmaker of my time. The guy's just got that guy's body of work is untouchable, in my opinion. And we had watched like 8 of his films, and then I'm like, I have to watch fucking Showgirls, because I used to really like Showgirls. I was 13 when it came out, and I would get stoned and I would sneak into the theater, and I watched it like 6 times when it came out, because something about it was like unlike anything I had ever seen. And when you're up until, at least for me, when I started to study film and started to get more academic about it, I like lost my innocence, and I had like something spoiled inside of me. So when you exercise an academic half of your brain, you, at least in my experience, and I'm gaining it back now, you have to kind of, like, one of the concessions that you kind of have to give up your I don't know what the part of the brain you'd call the brain that does the impressions, the brain that receives impressions. So like when I was up until age 13, 14, 15, like I would see something, I wouldn't know why I liked it. I would just know that I liked it, and I wouldn't know why I didn't like something. I just know that it just didn't move me, and I didn't like it as much as I liked something else. Showgirls was like a mesmerizing work of film when I was 13 and 14. There was nothing like that film. It was absolutely spectacular. And then people came out and said it was like the worst film ever made. And maybe I listened to it, or maybe I had no desire to ever see it again. And then fucking 95, so 25 years later, I revisited it. And that film is a fucking spectacular work of cinema, and it's a mesmerizing film, and it's fucking awesome.
I remember when it came out. I think Verhoeven, because Verhoeven, of course, was so well known for violence, right?
He was sex and violence. Yeah.
He
Basic Instinct, RoboCop. Yeah.
Yeah. RoboCop, Basic Instinct, and wasn't the Mars one also?
That was after Showgirls. That was Starship Troopers. But he did.
Oh no, I'm talking about the Schwarzenegger one where he goes up to Mars.
Total Recall.
Total Recall. Yeah, that was Verhoeven, right?
Yes, yeah.
Fucking great film.
This guy's body of work is. This guy's body of work is fucking in decades. It's untouchable. But anyway, you were saying the first time you saw it.
Just that I think with Showgirls, he kind of wanted to do for sex what he did for violence. Like he was just because like Showgirls was his attempt to.
But it's also like this X-rated, like it's like an X-rated version of Singing in the Rain. It's like a real musical, and it's got a real set, and it's got real dancers, and it's like it's climbing through the ranks of like dirty strip club up to like the final destination, which is these big Las Vegas shows, and he somehow was able to like choreograph for everything from the stage all the way up to these massive shows. It's a spectacular film. It's so good. And
I might as well confess, I could watch Gina Gershon read a phone book on film. Not for her appearance. She's beautiful, but it's not about the appearance. It's her soul. Like there's something about her I find so movie star. She's just like
something very dangerous about her, actually. Yeah, something very, very, very like I don't even know what the word is, but just she seems very dangerous. Yeah,
she's the greatest. All right, and I let you down because after you said your favorites, I should have told you your favorites from 2.5 years ago.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you'd guess these, but it was Deliverance, The Breakfast Club, Silence of the Lambs. And you added in Y Tu Mama Tambien.
Yeah.
And your underrated from 2019 is, of course, the Scorsese classic.
After Hours.
Hours.
It's still the best Martin Scorsese film. King of Comedies get a close second. Goodfellas is good, too. They're all good, but After Hours is still my favorite of his.
After Hours is a special goddamn movie. And I'm just going to add this because you're like one of the major cinephiles I know, which to me After Hours is paired actually in my mind with another film called Into the Night. John Landis's Into the Night.
Oh, I didn't even know what
Into the Night and After Hours came out like the same summer. I was in, I forget what
85?
What year. Yeah, I guess I was a junior in high school. And they were both like, one was Griffin Dunn having this crazy experience through one night, and Into the Night was Jeff Goldblum, before anyone knew who he was, having a crazy ass experience all through one night. So watch Into the Night because also John Landis pulled in all these directors to play cameos. So, everyone from David Cronenberg to Paul Mazursky. I can't even name them all.
Really?
Yes. And they all just like played, 3 or 4 lines tops. Bowie's in it.
David Bowie?
David Bowie plays an assassin.
Okay.
Actually, David Bowie is so good in it that you do realize, like, he should have been a movie star, too.
Yeah.
Like,
he was a fucking movie star anyway. He just wasn't in a lot of movies. Yeah. He was
for sure.
A movie star. Yeah.
All right. Well, I've done my Into the Night pitch because After Hours, Into the Night, like, they belong together.
Okay.
The all-night films, which, man, I haven't seen a film that's all the adventures that happen in one crazy night for a long time. Mm-hmm. Although I guess actually I should take that back. Booksmart.
Okay.
Right? Wasn't Booksmart like that? But anyway.
I didn't see it.
Oh. Jump in with your overrated.
I overrated The Master, Paul Thomas Anderson. I read. I saw it in the theater when it came out, and it just washed over me. And then I have people have been raving about it. That was 9 years ago, and I've been hearing like bits and pieces of people raving about it. And it's funny, I meet the younger generation of kids now. I was actually speaking to kids after I saw. I'm 39, so now all the kids that were like me 15 years ago are showing up to movie theaters, and I talk to them. And I'm not even like an elder statesman. I'm just older than these fucking kids. And they're like, Paul Thomas Anderson's the best. There will be blood, inherent. I'm like, are you fucking nuts? That guy hasn't made a movie that's spoken to me in 20 years. And I say that because I hold him in very high regard. I just haven't connected to his films since Punch Drunk Love. But I thought I was missing something with The Master. And I rewatched it again. And there... It introduces, it sets the bar so high, and it introduces this. It introduces something. It doesn't follow. It doesn't hit me. It didn't hit me with the gravitas that it was suggesting with the first 30 minutes of the film. And then I was reading, dearly departed Roger Ebert's review of it, and he said when he reached out and he grasped for what he was seeing, and he came up with air in his hand. And I'm like, that's exactly what happened to me when I saw it. It had all these moments of like, it had really cool, like really, it had real moments in it, but it just didn't have like the whole of it didn't have the gravity that was suggested it was going to have in my viewing.
I got a guilty confession, which is I'm a major Paul Thomas Anderson fan, and I love actually a lot of the work since Punch Drunk, though Punch Drunk I think is so underrated. Like, I don't think people appreciate it. Maybe it's because of Sandler, I don't know.
It's so good.
But we watched the first half of The Master because I recorded it off HBO or something. It's on our DVR. Mm-hmm. I think it's still on our DVR. And my life partner, she didn't want to start it up again the next day when we weren't as tired. And I kept like going, oh, come on, I got to finish it. So I've actually only seen like the first...
Oh, you haven't seen it?
I never got to finish it.
The reason I'm bringing it up is because I'm not like trashing him. Because I hold him in very high regard. And there's a lot of that film that's like, it's like a tour de force for several different reasons. But at the same time, it just doesn't... The whole of it doesn't match what it's happening in small parts in it.
Either way, it's just kind of funny. I never, that's how life is.
Oh, I know.
Sometimes you start a film
and
you never get back to it.
And don't get back to it.
When you're saying that's the overrated PTA film, I'm like, well, I guess that's why I couldn't get her to go back and watch the rest.
And I think I'm in the minority in saying that because actually a lot of people may say the same thing, but a lot of people really, really love that film. And they think it's like there's something there, and that just wasn't there for me.
Interesting. Mm-hmm. Well, I have to tell you, 2.5 years ago or 2 years ago, you opted out of the overrated. You said, you know what? I love cinema. There's no such thing as an overrated film.
Yeah. I just didn't want to talk about overrated films. I didn't want to sound like a dickhead. And like because everyone's like I'm not like coming up here like trying to trash other filmmakers. And the only reason I speak about Paul Thomas Anderson is because I hold him in such high regard, and his work has influenced me like in a really good way.
Yeah, and that's what Overrated is about. I only asked the overrated question because one, it sparks a little. It's fun because one of these days when COVID's gone, we're going to have another hangout we're going to have another hangout with all the people who've done the podcast. Mm-hmm. I'm going to be able to like point to like, there's the 3 dudes who made The Dark Knight in their top 3. And there's 3 dudes who said The Dark Knight's they're overrated. And I'm going to introduce them. Mm-hmm. But besides that, yeah, it says overrated doesn't mean bad. Like, it just means that everyone...
I didn't get it.
Everyone goes on and on about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, one for me is actually something you mentioned, No Country for Old Men. I like it a lot, but it might be one of my least favorite Coen Brothers films. And like people who think it's the one that got them the Oscar when like all their other films I think are just even more amazing.
Yeah.
So that's what makes it overrated is it's amazing, mm-hmm. but it's not as amazing as, honestly, I can't even name them all, but like Miller's Crossing. Miller's Crossing didn't get any nominations. Mm-hmm. Of any kind.
Raising Arizona, yeah.
Raising Arizona, Barton Fink. I mean, come on. The truth is, Fargo and No Country got the most. Big Lebowski's.
Big Lebowski's.
Perfection.
It is perfection, and I should. That's actually fallen into one of my favorites, and I will just really quickly, as we're talking about the Coen Brothers, they designed a new rhythm of comedy with that film. I've been saying that I've realized because a friend of mine, it didn't dawn on me. A friend of mine saw it in the theaters when it came out in 1998, And he's like, dude, we didn't fucking laugh the whole movie. No, he goes, we didn't laugh at one thing the whole movie. I'm like, really? I'm like, oh yeah, because there's no punchline the whole fucking film. And if you watch it and you understand it and you keep watching it, you can laugh through that whole movie. Because they actually created a new comedy. A new rhythm of comedy.
Patrick is watching me nod my head because when the opening night of that film, I went to see it in Westwood, California, which was the movie capital, at this big ass 70 millimeter screen, and I sat there with two friends, and we were big ass Coen Brothers fans. We were so excited a new Coen Brother movie came out. We were all like, eh. And then when Big Lebowski came out on VHS, of course we picked it up and just over time there's not one unfunny moment.
Nothing.
Except when Donnie dies, but it's
even funny.
But the rest of it,
it's still funny.
It's still
it's
film
moving.
It's perfection.
It is. It's a perfect film. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was Overrated. So the last is a lesser known that people should seek out.
Well, first is Paul Verhoeven's 1973 Turkish Delight. It's fucking awesome. And then an addendum to that is Abel Ferrara's 1995 The Addiction with Lily Taylor. So Rutger Hauer is in Turkish Delight, a young Rutger Hauer. The film's what's it called? Holland. They're from Holland, I think. The Netherlands, whatever that is.
Yeah, same thing.
That's the same thing, right? Yeah. So it's from the Netherlands from 1973. I think it's the highest grossing film. This is Turkish Delight. Turkish Delight it's phenomenal. It's mind blowing, and it's really really influential.
I got to see it. I haven't seen it. That's the perfect answer for lesser known.
Yeah, and then The Addiction from 1995. It was after Abel Ferrara did Bad Lieutenant. It's basically like where all of his talents and all of his ideas and all of his themes and they all converge. And there's some violence in it. There's no nudity. There's no street shit. Not really. It's about a woman who's she's a philosophy student. She gets bitten by a vampire. It's fucking so good. But anyway, The Addiction is really cool.
Yeah, that's his vampire film. I love it.
But it's not a vampire film. It's like an existential fucking. Yeah. It's so cool. Yeah. It's like an existential.
Crazy dude.
He's crazy. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of The King of New York.
Yeah.
I could watch that film every night.
Yeah, I'm like that with Bad Lieutenant. That was always my favorite, and then I watched The Addiction, and I'm like, oh, this guy's so fucking good, And Lily Taylor's so good, but so those two, seek out Turkish Delight and The Addiction, and Boulevard Nights if you have the time.
And Boulevard Nights, a third one.
Yeah, third one, Boulevard Nights.
I haven't heard of that. Well, who's in that?
That's an independent film from East LA, 1980. Started the New Beverly. Had never even heard of it, and it's about kids, late teens, early 20s. The young kid with the bad old brother. It's about kids in the street in East LA.
Cool.
It's really cool. Yeah.
Cool. 1980.
Yeah, 1980. Whittier Boulevard. They're all up and down Whittier Boulevard or whatever. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, I guess I'll wrap it up.
Yeah.
Because these 4 questions episodes are supposed to be quick little podcasts. So I am gonna run through everything. Oh,
what was my?
Oh yeah,
the last one from 2019.
You said to seek out Straight Time and Blue Collar.
Oh yeah. Good movies.
Good movies. Yeah. That's what this is about. All right, let me throw all this out. Well, first of all, if you want to check out Patrick's stuff, I told you in the intro to go to Amazon Prime Video and look up Patrick Connolly's Desire Lines. You can also watch it on Tubi. While you're on Amazon Prime, go to the Discover Indie Film TV series. Just search for Discover Indie Film. If you want to watch The Creeping Ritual, which was written and directed by Patrick Connolly, go to season 2, right? Yeah. I got the wrong thing in front of me. Season 2, episode 9, exactly. All right. And if you want to hear his first podcast, we did him. He was in episodes 114 and 115, so those are at discoverindiefilm.com. where you can learn all about this podcast and the TV series associated with it. And if you like the, give it 5 stars. Give this podcast 5 stars. Give that TV series 5 stars. Actually, go on Amazon Prime Video and watch Patrick Connolly's Desire Lines and give that motherfucker 5 stars. Come on. And social media, it's at DIFWins. So it's discoveryindiefilm.com or at DIFWins on social media. And Patrick had his films in both festivals that I worked for. That's the Sherman Oaks Film Festival. That's every November. You can learn about that at ShermanOaksFF.com. And on social media, it's at ShermanOaksFF. And Film Invasion LA every June, where we had the festival premiere of Desire Lines. I'm going to brag about that one. Why not? And that's every June, and you can learn about it at FilmInvasionLA.com. And it's at Film Invasion LA on social media. I think we're good. You good?
I'm good. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Patrick, and thank you, everyone who listened.